And we are back. Thank you for joining us for another episode of USATF's Journey to Gold Zone podcast. I am one of your hosts, Erik Kynard Jr., joined by the Wallace Spearmon Jr., and we have the first guest for us in 2025, Mr. Jacob Wooten, pole vault extraordinaire, 2024 Olympian in the men's pole vault. Texas A&M college grad, right? Alumni, grad, yeah.
Yep,
all
alumni,
of that.
yeah.
Alumni, student athlete, still in Texas training.
Yep.
Okay, Jake, how are you, man? How's the winter been treating you? How are the holidays?
Oh, really well, really well. Off-season training has been going really good. We just joined winter with the rest of the country. So I got plenty of good outdoor training in up until now. Feeling good about the season.
Any snow down there?
Oh, heck no. Not yet anyway. I hope it stays away.
Hey, me too.
So is Coach Henry allowing you to get on the runway in there in that new multi-million-dollar indoor facility, or is it still off
Oh
limits
yeah.
right now outside of comp?
I've been doing some training in there with the coaching staff, so Coach Henry treats me pretty well.
That's good, and that's good to hear. When I was in college, he was not letting anybody on the infield.
No.
You remember how it
Yeah.
was? With the
I don't
old
remember. I
facility
trained
in
there, so we had different.
Yeah.
rules
I
of
went to
engagement.
Kansas
Oh
State. That was
yeah.
back when y'all were in the Big 12, so it was if you didn't have on the
Yeah.
A&M uniform, the rules were a little different.
Hold on, wait a minute. I think we got a surprise guest on this podcast. Am I seeing that right? Is there someone behind you? Is that a pillow or a
Oh.
dog?
That's a dog.
Oh, that's my dog, Bella.
Can I pet that dog?
Can I pet that? Is it Bella?
Bella, yeah.
We now have a new guest on the podcast and has taken over.
Bella, thank you for joining us. You are the first ever K9 support animal to join us on the podcast. And you look like you're a chocolate lab or a golden something.
She's actually a red-bone coonhound.
Oh, see, I was super wrong. I don't even know what that is.
You were bold enough to guess. I wasn't even gonna go that
She's a
far.
completely different breed.
Hey,
She
we
does
know
look
you
a little
like
like a
red
chocolate
bones,
lab,
though.
though.
How old is Bella?
She's about 5.
That's your road dog everywhere with you?
Yeah, unless I'm out of the country.
Yeah, but say, did Bella get any extra treats now that you're an Olympian? Did she get us any surprises or any gifts?
Oh, she's always gotten too many treats.
That's awesome, man. So, all right, a few questions. We'll get back on track or back on the runway. So I'm gonna start off with this one, man. Wait, number one, how you say the name? I lived in College Station and I still don't know. I should know, but I don't. How do you say a high school? Tomball? How you say it?
Oh, Tomball High School.
Where is that, brother?
Um, it's like a suburb, just a little bit north of Houston.
Got you. All right, cool. I probably
Yeah,
should know
yeah.
that. Somebody's gonna be in the comments destroying me because I didn't know where that was. My apologies. It is what it is. And then the next thing, man, you know, you go research yourself, and I see all these little clips and articles. And Coach Henry was going off on one of these little articles because at nationals the bar wasn't measured properly or something. What happened there?
Oh, that was fun. I think that was my senior year that happened at the indoor NCAA championship. What happened was they raised the bar out of progression. We were supposed to go from, I believe it was 563 to 568.
Mm-hmm.
But they raised the bar from 563 to 573. Had all of us jump until everyone was done at the bar. And I ended up being the only one to make it who was jumping at that bar.
All
They
right,
go
like a
back and they're
boss.
like, okay, now it's time to raise it up to 573. And like, oh, it's already there. So they
So
had to go back down and re-jump everybody, give them fresh new attempts at 568. And then I just got to wait until the next bar. I felt the worst for Chris and Mondo though, because they passed 568, ended up waiting like an hour and a half to jump again.
Dang. So you've been competing against these same guys that were in the games. I mean, for quite some time then, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's the same people, just different spots now.
I like to hear it.
So let's talk about that a little bit, Jake. You're somewhat of a pole vault phenom in high school. I mean, it's I know that's far few in between when you call somebody a phenom in track, but pole vaulting, obviously, in the jumps, there is a large community in the pole vault, so it's easy to kind of see the differences between the young elite pole vaulters and maybe just those who are more fanatics of the event. You went to Texas A&M, obviously competed for A&M, chose to go pro and work with your dad, right? Am I correct in saying that your dad is still your coach, right? So it was a different
Yes, sir.
Olympic experience for you, as in having dad out there as both parent support and parental support and coach.
Yeah, he's been
What
with me
what
since
led
day
to you?
one.
That's good. Yeah. What led to that decision, which is, a lot of athletes are faced with when going pro, to either stay in the college setting and train with a collegiate coach, and or kind of look for a different situation and having a parental coach or a different professional coach.
Yeah. So, big thing for me was I'd seen some of my friends even take that same step where they were trying to go into the professional sphere, and they had gone to new areas, and it was a lot of change. And most of them in that transitionary period had a much worse time in the first year or two while getting used to all of the new. I decided it'd probably be more worth my while to stick with the environment that was working and just continue to build upon those building blocks we'd been developing. Um, so that's kind of what I based my decision on. I
Mhm.
was still improving fairly well at Texas A&M at a good rate, so I decided to stick around here and just continue with the plan.
Okay, and this, I mean, proof of concept actually has been deemed to be successful. We saw it with Sam and his dad for quite some time in his career. So, not to say that any fanning or admiration took place, but in your evaluation of others, did you actually look at that and say, "Hey, I know this type of deal works because obviously you and your dad have had success from an early age as it relates to high school and amateurism," but then kind of bouncing back and evaluating your competition, like, hey, well, this, even my competitors have deemed this to be, one of the best ways to go about having a professional career in the sport.
Yeah, yeah. I do think looking at the success that Sam and his father have had definitely helped us solidify that path. Um, as you said, if there's a proof of concept um, already there in place, it definitely made the decision easier. And I definitely thought me and my dad could do some of the same.
What question for you? So mentally, you talk to a lot of athletes and they say things like, I made the Olympic team. I don't know what's next. Like, so what'd you do to kind of, decompress or just remove yourself from the sport during your off season?
I just kind of, a lot of what I do at the end of the season, I like to unplug from the social media surrounding the event and just kind of like step away for a couple of weeks. And then even when I get back into training, I don't even look at like anything pole vault related. So kind of just unplugging from the event for a short period of time. Um, and then honestly, I know a lot of people going to the Olympics come out and they're kind of like, okay, what do I do now? Um, but I actually almost felt a little bit better coming out of the Olympics. Um, Not necessarily that big old, what do I do now? But it's like, okay, I've done this. What am I going to do next? So, uh, just kind of rest, recharged, and was kind of renewed after the event.
Yeah, that's something we don't touch on, actually. I mean, we've mentioned multiple times that you obviously competing in your first Olympics this summer, 22nd in the qualifying. What was that experience like for you? I mean, you just kind of
Oh,
touched on, kind of like you touched on, obviously returning home and feeling, kind of motivated to continue. How was that Olympic experience overall?
it was great. I really enjoyed the whole thing. Especially like one of the biggest things for me was getting to be a part of those opening ceremonies. Getting to meet all of the other athletes from so many different events. Even getting a picture with Steph Curry was really cool. Um, all the way up until the competition. Like I'm in in the competition in this preliminary round with some of my best friends of years that I've been competing with since my college days, since even my high school days. Um, so it was just kind of getting to be amongst friends and competing at one of the high or the highest stage available.
So you said Steph Curry. Number one, did you trade pins? Second question is, who are you most excited to meet or see while you were there?
Oh, I mean, I would have to say meeting Steph and the basketball players was probably who I was most excited to meet. I did
NBA
unfortunately
team.
not get a pin, and I did not manage to get a picture with LeBron. He was getting swarmed like by us like flies. But like just being on the same boat as them was pretty cool.
You touch a little bit, Jacob, on the camaraderie between, obviously Team USA athletes and being in the pole vault community. You guys don't duck each other. You compete against these guys all the time, like you say, even, in a lot of instances since high school. How was it being embraced by, because I mean, in certain senses, there's a shift when you make the Olympic team from this is my direct competitor to now we're teammates, right?
Yeah.
With those guys out there. So how was the camaraderie on the runway? Did you have? I don't recall. Did you have Chris or Sam in your qualifying pit, or were you guys separated?
Sam was on my pit, and then Chris was on the other pit, but we're right next to each other. We had the same set of seating, so um, I would honestly say it was almost of the same environment. I think us pole vaulters and Team USA pole vaulters, especially, even when we're like in a meet and we're against each other, we're still trying to help each other out because at the end of the day, like I think, at least in the pole vault, we want to beat each other when we're at our absolute best.
Mhm.
Um, if that means like we will help our competitor to jump higher because we want to beat you at your best. So I think we almost always go into this meets not just at the Olympic Games, but in any meet in general with a sense of camaraderie and teamwork. Um, because we're trying to get the most out of each other and just be better as a group by every day.
You all are some
You're
damn
right.
all that. Y'all are some bullies, man. Speaking, I'm gonna talk about the hottest race that happened in Paris that nobody knows about. What you laughing for, bro? Why you laughing already? Why you laughing?
Do we have this
Oh,
on
I'm just
video?
remembering how that
Yes,
race went.
it's on my phone right now. So me, 39 years old, I'm like, I'm out there still exercising. I'm working, and Chris walks up. Hey, man, I want you to. I need you. I'm gonna give you a head start, and I want you to run with me to pull me. I was like, man, who the do you think you talking to?
Yeah.
Well, I might have got last out of like 4 people racing. I had flats on, they had spikes. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to.
Was it a 150? What was it?
That's not important. That we gonna
No, no, I think
Jake,
I think it was
Jake,
like
what was it? What was?
maybe like a 50, maybe like a
no, come on. It was
40
like
or 50.
I'm gonna say 30 or 40, man, because my
Oh yeah,
start
maybe
sucks. So
the
then that sounds more okay. No, all right.
or
I tried to
maybe
keep
you were
going.
running 30 and maybe we were running 40.
Damn.
Oh, shots, shots fired, and they not started
I ain't
gun
about
shots.
no. Don't do me like
They not
that.
started gun
I ain't have a
shots.
10-meter head start. No way. I did. There
No,
was. Hey, there.
it wasn't that big.
With all that being said, I want to see. Look, we saw Mondo uh, race in the 100-meter dash.
Yeah.
I want to see some more vaulters run some 100-meter dash, 150, 200, 60 something. Can I count on you? Can I depend on you to run one sprint event this year? Please.
I can give it a shot.
What do you think you run in the 60 indoors?
Oh, I actually have no idea.
All right. What's the best part of your race, the finish or the blocks?
Well, considering I start out of a 2 point stance, my blocks are horrendous.
Yes.
So it'd definitely be the
Wait,
finish.
no.
You should have said considering I beat you from a 2 point stance, my my start is okay.
You know what?
That's what you should have
You
said.
know what? In 2025, we already starting with the nonsense. I see.
Have you opened up your season yet, Jake?
No, I'm actually gonna jump at the college meet here in town tomorrow and just knock some of the rust
Okay.
off. Um, so we'll see how that
Will
goes.
you be okay? So season opener tomorrow, which would be January 10th, College Station.
Yeah.
Are you going to be jumping from a full or half?
Full. Full is the plan.
Dang. That means you're ready
Try
then,
to
huh?
get
So
a
you're going to
little bit
indoor
of
worlds
the.
this year.
That's the goal.
So what is the goal for the competition? I mean, I'm a high jumper by trade, or I used to be at least. I don't claim it anymore. But so back in my day, I would come into a competition knowing like, hey, I'm at least good for 228 or something if I'm coming from half or two, whatever the number is. For you, do you have a number in mind that you're interested as relates to clearing the opening uh, in the season opener?
Um, I'm not really going for heights in this first one. I'm
Yeah.
kind of just going for technique. I'm treating this one more like a high intensity practice session. Just trying to I have a bad habit of when I get into a meet situation, um, of jumping just like the technique reverts a little bit from what I've been working on. So the
Hmm.
main goal tomorrow is just to kind of go in, hit those technical cues, um, and make sure I'm making them stick before I go on to the pole vault summit in these bigger meets. Um,
Okay.
But the jumping's been going well. I think if I can just get on a decent pole that's actually slowing me down with these technical cues, I should be able to knock out the A standard.
Okay. No, that's good. And so
Yeah.
you mentioned the pole vault summit. Obviously, you got that coming up in another week, right?
Yep.
Ish.
Next week.
Next week. You are no stranger to the pole vault summit. You've been competing in what since high school? In the summit there, I think maybe.
Yeah. My
Well,
my
maybe
senior
not the
year was my
same
first year
location.
there. Yeah. It's the hotels changed this year, but it's been at the livestock center for the
Right.
competition
Right.
since actually for quite a while. Yeah.
How is that environment, and how is the environment compare or weigh for you as it relates to indoor versus outdoor? I know obviously fan engagement plays pretty well in pole vault,
Oh
especially
yeah.
if it's only pole vaulting going on for the summit. But as it relates to just conditions and or environment, what is that comparison like for you? Which do you prefer?
Oh. It's like two different situations. I love um events like the pole vault summit or just like pole vault only meets because it's just like you're so involved with the crowd. You're so involved with like a lot of what I would say are my people, right? Um, and Pole Vault Summit is like the biggest event like that because it's people of all ages, from beginners all the way to us professionals out there, just interacting, getting to show them where the path can lead. Um, so that just from that standpoint, just the Pole Vault Summit itself is one of my favorite events. And then there are quite a few meets in France that I do that are just pole vault only events because France goes crazy for the pole vault as well. Uh,
Hmm.
really nice setup. Fans are right there, right next to you, and we're getting to pick our runway songs, so that's always fun. Um, but
What
then
was your
there's
song?
also on the oh, I always do "Thunderstruck" by AC/DC. Got to get them to pick the
Yeah,
right spot. Yeah.
yeah, I agree. In my experience, Wallace, I know you don't have that in the
Hmm.
they ain't got no 200-meter only meets. Well, I guess Manchester has to run them 150
That's still
straight,
not
200.
200.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, they don't have love. They don't have love for people who get beat by pole vaulters or sprinters in races in Paris. We just gonna we're gonna sit tight. No, thank you. Don't think that happens.
Would you like to see? I mean, obviously the Drake relays used to do the mall vault, and they did they did the Ed Murphy, the street vault. Do you prefer participating outside of you know a normal track and field environment in the vault in comparison just than having to be in the stadium and having other athletes and other events going on? Do you like that isolation or that focused competition, or do
Um,
you feed off of the other events?
I like it, but I wouldn't say I necessarily prefer it. Um, because I also like to watch and support the other events at the track meet a lot. Just
Hmm.
getting down on the track, like that's what I did almost immediately after I went out in Paris was just go back down and support and watch the other athletes compete. So, um, there's benefits to both. Um, so I wouldn't necessarily say I prefer one or the other. I really do enjoy those meets that are just us, because they're a lot of fun. But also I do very much enjoy also being in the stadium with a lot of my other friends, being able to watch them compete and support them that way.
Yeah, we got to figure out how to get a speaker like on the runway for the vault, even at the track meet, so y'all can have like the music going at the same time. I feel like
Oh, that'd be
it's a enclosed enough environment on the runway to like have something, especially in the pole vault, to have something like that going on while the meet is actually going on.
oh yeah. Some music. We go a little music in a vault session goes a long way.
Do you all talk trash to each other?
Oh, all the time.
I want y'all mic'd up. Then I want. I'd be. I'm curious. I would just want to. I want to hear what
I'd
it's
honestly
like.
be a little scared what would be said if we were mic'd up.
Really?
Especially from Sam or Chris.
So you talk trash
Oh yeah.
personally, or do people just talk trash?
Oh, we talk trash to each other, like kind of like lovingly, but like if you don't know the context, sometimes it could be taken a little bit more extreme than it actually is.
Did you? Well, how about this? Do you care to give us an example of some trash talking that happens during competition?
I mean, I can talk about like personally. I've had some of my friends. I take like I've taken some of the ugliest first jumps known to man,
Okay.
and Like I've walked back on the runway and maybe Sam or Chris just turned to me and said, "What the hell was that?"
I can see that.
Because we're usually helping each other out at these meets, especially if we don't have a coach. Like we'll be the ones kind of like saying like, "Okay, your mid was here," like So we'll get fun with the feedback.
Help, 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 jab, jab, help, help, help again. Does
Yeah,
that sound
like
like
that
the
was pretty
recipe?
nice for you.
That sounds like somebody over here. That sounds like something he would say.
My compliments aren't always backhanded. They're usually,
Oh, not the compliments part, my brother. I'm talking about trash talking. I think you
Oh
would fit
yeah,
right
yeah,
in.
yeah. Oh yeah, I can definitely talk. I'm like, yeah. I'm a master in trash talk for sure.
We're gonna send you to Eric's trash talking class,
Yeah,
but then you're gonna
Oh
have to
yeah,
go to a
teach me
boxing class
a
too.
thing or two,
yeah,
huh?
yeah. Because you don't have you talk air trash. You're gonna have to be able to fight a little bit.
Oh damn.
Obviously, the vaulting is the crazy man's event in that you compete to failure, and you carry that failure on with you into the next competition. How do you disconnect from the insanity of chasing constant improvement or facing constant failure as it relates to trying to progress in the vault? As you stated earlier, your level of fitness right now, and the technical fitness you have in comparison to the poles that you're on, differs, right? So you're
Yeah.
constantly faced with variables and circumstances which you're handicapped from improving or progressing, maybe solely just because of the time of year it is, or the right conditions. So how do you balance that?
Yeah. Play a lot of video games. Reading is a big one. Especially this last
Call
year
of
I
Duty,
picked up not a big fan of Call of Duty. I try to play games that are more relaxing a lot of the time.
Like
Um
Tetris.
um
what?
not Tetris,
Tiger
but
Woods.
like things like Minecraft a lot,
Okay. Yeah.
but that's more like towards the later part of the year when things are really intense. At the beginning of the year I'll play some more intense things like I don't know if y'all ever played Dark Souls.
That's like Final Fantasy, way too long of a storyline for me.
Yeah.
Destiny.
Do people die? If nobody's dying in a video game, it's probably not my game. Like, I'm gonna be honest.
You're the one that's dying on repeat because the game's so hard. Imagine a video game, but the game is stuck on a permanent screw you difficulty. That's Dark
Oh
Souls.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah,
yep,
Tough.
yeah. Not my
yeah.
game.
I see why
That
you
sounds
don't
like
do
a
that in
broken
mid-season.
controller for me.
Oh, yeah, yeah. If you get angry gaming, don't play those games.
Do you hunt at all?
No, no, no.
Okay. Well,
It's been
just the breed
quiet.
of the
I
dog. So I was
used to, but
curious.
it's been quite a while.
I got you. Fish.
Yeah.
Do you
No
fish?
fishing. No fishing.
Okay. Are you an outdoors person?
Man, what kind of Texan?
I'm a hermit.
I'm just thinking like I thought he
Practically.
and Ryan Krauser would be
No, I'm giving Jake a hard time.
right.
You don't hunt,
Exactly.
you don't fish. What kind of Texan? We gonna have to
Do you
revoke
own
him.
a truck?
I do own a truck.
There we go. All right.
There he
all
is.
right,
Yeah, there
all
you
right.
go. You're out here throwing me under the bus to the rest of the
Do
Texans.
you like steak?
Oh, yes.
All right, my man. Steakhouse. Somebody come in here and get this man a steak dinner, man.
You sound like you owe him a steak dinner for that race.
He owes me a steak dinner. He beat. What you mean? My feelings were hurt. Not his. He's happy. I gave him confidence prior to his competition.
Man, you raced a professional athlete. He ran for free. You owe him a steak dinner.
They asked me.
Sound like he owe you a steak dinner, Jake. So outside of competing this weekend, or not even this weekend, tomorrow opening up at College Station, new indoor track facility, pole vault will be going down. We have you cracking up the real indoor season open and the pole vault summit in about a week's time. What does your indoor schedule look like otherwise?
So I've got the pole vault summit obviously next week. Then towards the end of the month, I'll fly out to France for a series of like 4 meets, a couple days in between each. Just kind of hopping around the Parachute Tour and a few smaller meets there. Before coming back, maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks before USA indoors, and then that'll be Staten Island, and then hopefully after that, um, onwards to the World Indoor Championship in China.
World Indoor Championship in China. Have you ever competed in Staten Island before?
I have not actually, so this will be a first time.
Okay, well, we are excited for you to get to compete in Staten Island, of course, folks. We have the 2025 USA Indoor Championships kicking off February 22nd and 23rd at the Ocean Breeze Complex in Staten Island, New York. Get your tickets now in the link below, please.
Did you get to meet Snoop Dogg when you were in Paris?
No, I didn't.
Dang, bro, what were you doing? You were
Yeah.
at the
Hold
training center.
on. You raced Wallace,
Yeah.
the Snoop Dogg whisperer.
Gang.
Welcome to Death
Yeah, and he
Row.
didn't call Snoop Dogg down.
And he ain't even called Snoop
Why
Dogg
is everything my
down.
fault? I feel like I have no juice with the
This not
pole
your fault.
community.
This not your fault. Bullshit.
Everything is your fault. Did you get to meet anybody while you were over there? I mean, not the athletes. I mean, we had Mick Jagger who came to the training facility. Snoop Dogg came. Terry Crews came. There's some more people that came. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say, but did you get to meet anybody?
No, none of them. I must have just missed them.
That's what you call being locked in.
Yeah, you was locked in, brother.
All right. Are you married?
Oh, no.
Do you want to get married?
Not at the moment.
True player for real. Hey, yo, Jake, who is your pole vault inspiration? That's not something we touched on. Obviously, you grew up in a generation where, for all intents and purposes, you got to see Renault at his peak and in his prime.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, you got to experience competing against Mondo. Out of curiosity, who is who motivated you or inspired you to be, great or pursue an Olympic endeavor in the actual vault?
Like, what really sparked my interest in track and field going through junior high and high school was actually both the pole vault and the high jump. Because that was also when
another one
Barsim
for
was going
Erik.
crazy. So I remember growing up watching Barsim and Renault just going for some records while I was growing up, and that was like really what flipped the switch for me.
What's your PR in the high jump?
Oh, I can't high jump to save my life.
Can you dunk?
I could
touch
if
the
I
rim?
could palm a basketball.
That's fair.
I got baby hands. You give me a volleyball, I could do it.
Where can we find you at on the internet, social media?
You can catch me at Jake Vaults on Instagram.
Jake Vaults on Instagram. How many lefts you taking tomorrow, Jake?
How many lefts? I'm gonna do 8, so like 16 steps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ladies, if you're interested,
Hey, take it easy, man.
if you're interested in change his mind about marriage, and if you get married, I god dang it, based off this podcast, one of us is the best man. That's all I'm saying.
Find Jake on Black Planet,
Hyde Book,
Bumblebee,
Future Farmer, Christian Mingle,
ChristianMingle.com. Check out his profile. Do you not go looking for Jake on any dating site? What was the other one they had? Tinder, yeah.
Tinder's the big one.
Oh, man,
yeah. I'm sure Tinder went crazy in
not
College
on duty,
Station.
bro. Do you have one of those profiles?
Hey, no, we're not talking about that. Damn that. No.
We can edit this out. Now, do you have a profile on any dating apps?
Don't answer that, Jake. Don't answer that. Before we get too deep into the shenanigans here, Jake, listen, we appreciate your time. We obviously enjoyed getting to learn you as an athlete and both watching you compete in Paris this summer at the Olympics. We look forward to the contributions you make in the pole vault community. We've been watching it and doing our research. We obviously have been successful as a Team USA in the event, and we definitely think that we'll see you on the medal stand soon to come, hopefully here in China at the Indoor Championship.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on another episode. We appreciate your time, brother. Peace.